please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Omegon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're going to be looking at Frogan. On my main channel, I have done one video on her. She's a melt. Frogan the Hun, where this image comes from, is well known for being one of the mods for Hassan Piker, the communist. Sorry, brocialist, socialist. Very far left-leaning, uneducated, kicked out of the DNC, intellectually dishonest, thinks if he shouts over you he wins a debate, talks fast because he thinks that also helps. Loser. One of the most successful Twitch streamers though, ever. Somebody who worries constantly about his numbers because he is in decline, slightly. For him to be relevant, he needs a Republican president. That's what he needs. Because when you pick a side, your best option is to be the opposition, because that gets more interest to you. Frogan hates America. This is important. Her hatred of America extends everywhere. Recently, Asmongold got a 14-day ban on Twitch for airing his view that he does not care about anyone in Palestine, generally in that region, because he just doesn't. He really doesn't. He put out a very plastic apology, which, let's face it, was only done because of the constant barrage of criticism he had received. Frogan, in a similar sense, has aired some views in regions like the Middle East. That has done its rounds over the course of the weekend enough that I believe we should do a little video on it. We'll start with Destiny.
So the U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, you know, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong, like, I'm changed, like, imperialism, this, you don't deserve the PTSD.
Are you, Frogan, the anti-American who lives in America, lives on convenience food, fast food that is, you're hardly svelte, are you saying that there are soldiers who follow orders, there are soldiers who are deserving of PTSD? You sound like someone who doesn't know what it means to take a life, to follow orders that run counter to your beliefs, because you are playing a part in a game. A rather horrible one that I wish didn't exist, but will always exist for as long as humanity does. No lives matter, everyone. I'll solve these problems for you.
But like any other motherfucker, you're joining them, you're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans, you. I hope you get PTSD.
I'm gonna say that is possibly one of the nastiest things I've ever heard said on the internet. To wish PTSD onto somebody, to wish suffering on another person, is never something I can condone unless you have diddled another member of your species, adult, child, right? Diddled an animal, or you've spoken when a movie is playing in the cinema. You, Frogan, should have never said this. You get so passionate about what you believe, even though much of it runs counter, because you're a bit of a contrarian on purpose. You really are. You are such a zealot, an ideologue. You are so violently blind. Your mouth speaks before your brain has a chance to actually give consideration to what you're about to say. And that level of aggression is unnecessary. If you want to talk about stupid military operations, we could sit here and have a little discussion about the Afghanistan withdrawal, which was one of the dumbest executions I've ever seen in my life. If you wanted to make America look weak, that was a fantastic way of doing it. No troop, no person, no one, no creature deserves to suffer from PTSD. And just from you saying someone does deserve it, it shows you completely do not understand what PTSD is and how damaging it is to your species. Although I'm starting to believe you think yourself removed from it, hun.
And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America.
To be honest, I wouldn't be too worried about the health insurance part. America has a fantastic track record of not looking after their veterans anyway. Something which, much like PTSD, I would not wish on anyone. You serve your country should then serve you. One of the things that tickles me the most about Frogan is she benefits from all that many soldiers have fought and died for. She benefits from it so much so that she can believe whatever she wants to believe, because of the freedoms people fought for to give to her. And she has chosen this. Not the faith, don't care about her faith. She has chosen this line of thought. We'll get to some of the tweets soon, but one had a stellar solution for this.
Jesus Christ.
I like how this is okay. This is okay to say. For some reason. Why is this okay? Can you tell me, Steve? I'm confused.
This is anti-American.
Oh.
Let's face it here, they're not wrong. Much like in the United Kingdom, we have people here who dunks on what it is to be English, because you're not allowed to be proud of being English. Scottish, Welsh, Irish, 100%. Oh yeah, You can be proud from any other nation if you like, in England, but you cannot be proud of being English because you're then considered far right. In America, it's the same problem. You're considered backward, redneck, hillbilly, inbred, uneducated, and of course, bad, like Napster. At some point, this rhetoric needs to go the way of the dinosaurs, and there is a problem on Twitch where this is normalized. This is acceptable, yet other commentary saying, I just don't care, is not. If you're going to implement rules against other creators, no matter how big or small, banning them for hate speech, you have to be honest enough to say this would qualify based on your own rules. I don't agree with hate speech, because I think all speech should be there. Insert obligatory pedantic twats who wants to now tell me otherwise, this is the wrong channel for you. Alright, I don't care, you can stop typing, bye-bye.
So is that, but I thought veterans were a protected class.
You'd think so, huh?
No, they actually are. Veterans are a protected class, just like, race and everything else. So do we not enforce those rules on Twitch?
I don't actually know if veteran status is called out under TOS. It might be. You should check.
I mean, veterans are a protected class.
The best bit about this video is that they now go and pull up the very thing that I've mentioned about hate speech and protected classes, the terms of service. Now this is important because you're about to see, based on terms of service, how Frogan should be given a ban. I will always stand against these rules because I think Frogan should be allowed to say this nonsense. I also think because of that, Frogan shouldn't be allowed to then moderate her own chat, filter out the negative comments that she will get for commentary like this. Yes, I firmly believe if you're going to speak like this, you need to see the backlash. It's called a purchase after all, and the receipt is the backlash.
Twitch does not permit behavior that is motivated by hatred, prejudice, or intolerance, including behavior that promotes or encourages discrimination, denigration, harassment, or violence based on the following protected characteristics: race, ethnicity, color, caste, national origin, immigration status, religion, sex, gender, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, serious medical condition like PTSD, and veteran status. So she hit 2 of them there.
This is where people at Twitch have to take note. You see, whereas Asmongold got a ban for technically not violating this because he just said he didn't care, Frogan has actually violated your rules. So why aren't you? And if someone now wants to say, Meg, you're pushing for a ban. Yes, I am. I am. Because the rules say it. Again, I believe the rule should be applied equally. Justice must be blind, therefore you must shelve your political affiliations and the normalization of this behavior. Act in good conscience, in good faith, and apply your rules as they should be applied. That is what should happen. It's idealist, I know. Wow, Meg thinks the rules should be applied correct. Imagine my shock. But this is where the problem arises. Coincidentally, it's the next part of this video.
This conduct...
But does anyone give a f***? Hey, Dan Clancy, do you give a f***, you f***ing sucker?
This part right here, this is why I'm permabanned, by the way. It's because I said that trans people on Twitter are subhuman. This is the reason why I'm permabanned, is the hateful conduct here. Pretty wild, but...
I can't wait to find every f***ing advertiser that sits next to these motherfuckers and send them videos of their shit.
Hypocrisy, thy name is Twitch, basically applies here. This is now where we're going to go through some tweets that are relevant to this. Destiny had tweeted out a one of those little ranking chart things, ranking Destiny as knowing, ranking Ethan Klein as informed, Vosh wondering, Nick Fuentes just asking questions, Hassan Piker anti-Semitic, and I think that's Frogan, maybe? Yeah, Nazi. That'll do it. Although I would argue there are many more people you can add to these categories. But I like the condensed version. Strange how all 3 and knowing all look like Destiny. Nick Merckx had retweeted Drew Pavlu? Yes, who had said, this annoys me. There are still so many of us in the streaming world that appreciate our veterans and those that serve this country. Thank you for our freedoms. We're grateful for our privilege. I love in the video that Nick Merckx has retweeted part of, Frogan is drinking Pure Leaf. Pure Leaf is not exactly a cheap drink, but it's a point made about certain levels of quality standard in life. She lives it quite well compared to those veterans she just took a dunk on. Frogan had tweeted a video, totally normal. The video is comments received. The comments are not very nice, or DMs even, and message requests, because there's no way she has her DMs open. Why? Because she's a loser, that's why. Sorry, Twitch partner. I know there's meant to be a little difference here between the two. It's hard to tell these days. It really is, especially because Frogan exists. And I agree with the comments that are underneath this that I can't be asked to go through, all of which dumping on you for being a loser. A number of users had added Twitch with the video, thanking them for allowing hate speech on your platform. One, for example, Sergeant Jackson, from having PTSD himself, yeah, no, not great. You have Jude here, listening to my little stepbrother cry in his sleep night after night, all the times he tried to unalive. Luckily, my big brother went through the same and pulled him out. It requires support and understanding, turns out, not your fat-faced, uneducated, stuffinged vitriol. You're an ideologue, and a moronic one at that. Although I generally think ideologues are morons to begin with, so you're beneath them. Congratulations. FaZe Banks. Serious question, how is this allowed on Twitch? Doesn't TOS have rules explicitly regarding protected classes? Veterans are a protected class, recognised by law. Isn't it recognised in Twitch TOS? This clip is actually insane. Now, the clip in question is Frogan doubling down. Let's play that.
Any other motherfucker you're joining them, you're like, oh my god, I want my Camaro, no student loans. You. I hope you get PTSD. And I hope you get no health insurance when you get back into America. And they posted it in my head. I'm like, base? Based? Like, am I supposed to be like, I'm not walking back on it. I still agree with it. Based?
If it makes you feel any better, there is nothing remotely based about what you've said. Because you're a smeghead. Simple as that. I will stand by every insult aimed in your direction because, quite frankly, you deserve it. But so does Twitch. Twitch for not acting when they should in this context. Frogan did later tweet out, the US military has conducted some of the most horrific crimes against humanity in the modern era in countries such as Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Lebanon, and Palestine. My anger is directed at individuals who are currently championing these war crimes as if they liberated my people. It's horrific and disgusting. The beginning of the clip was worded poorly, and I do apologize for that. I go on to clarify in the clip that I do not mean all military, but specifically those with no remorse. What I said was out of frustration as they are currently, that word, my family in the name of liberation. I realised that wishing people harm isn't the best way to talk about these issues, and that I could have talked about these topics in a more sensitive way. Your apology is a load of BS. You turned replies off because you knew damn well you were going to get laid the smack down with the comments. You know this. Your apology is a load of bollocks, by the way. You talk about this as if the crimes being committed in those countries against their own people aren't bad enough. Let's talk about Afghanistan and the Taliban, shall we? Where women's rights have gone back to the Dark Ages. In Syria, Bashir Assad has been violating human rights for long enough. Do I need to talk about Hamas in Palestine? And what about Lebanon? Shall I go into that as well? How stupid are you that you think that what others have done externally is somehow far worse than what's been going on in those countries already? Last week, I quoted The West Wing with the Asmongold video, and I'm going to do it again here. President Josiah Bartlett said, "We are for freedom of speech everywhere. We are for freedom of worship everywhere. We are for freedom to learn for everybody. And because in our time, you can build a bomb in your country and bring it to my country, what goes on in your country is very much my business. And so we are for freedom from tyranny everywhere, whether in the guise of political oppression, or economic slavery, or religious fanaticism. That most fundamental idea cannot be met with merely our support. It has to be met with our strength, diplomatically, economically, material. And if the Pharaoh still doesn't release the slaves, then he gets the plagues of my cavalry, whichever gets there first." Me and Trups on a political recap stream we do have spoken about the US's position as the world police. It's very much ingrained in their culture, a culture you benefit from. You talk about your family over there. Many on Twitter suggest you go back there instead of dunking on Americans all the time, because for some peculiar reason you think your voice would matter there. But we both know it wouldn't. In fact, you'd be told to shut up.